Good morning, everybody. I am in Eagle Grove, Iowa today at the southern end of the trailhead for the Three Rivers Trail. So this is a crushed gravel trail. I guess at least right now it isn't a paved bike trail, and I had to take a gravel road to get here at the end, but they have a nice trailhead sign right here, and it's a beautiful day. I think it's like 43 right now, and the high is 60 around this area today, so it's going to be a gorgeous day. This is a 39 or so mile long trail, and I'm only going to walk from here to Humboldt, Iowa, which I think is around 22 to 23 miles. But again, it's crushed gravel, so this might take a while. And then my plan is to Uber or take a Lyft from Humboldt back here to my vehicle. So hopefully that turns out okay, and I can get that kind of scheduled on my walk before I find myself walking too far, and then if I can't get a ride, getting back to my truck. Okay, so anyway, we're doing the Three Rivers Trail today, and I'll talk a little bit about this. I'll turn the camera around. Okay, so here's a trail map. So I'm here in Eagle Grove, and so then it's 6.5 miles to Thor, and then it looks like another 12 miles to Humboldt. So whatever that equals. Is that only 18 and a half miles maybe? So yeah, so we'll see. Maybe it's just an 18 and a half mile day. And then it goes to Rutland, and then it goes, I guess, up to Bradgate. And anyway, the trail ends in Rolfe, Iowa, which is a population of 721 people. So yeah, whatever all of that adds up to, according to my Rails to Trails book, it was a 39 point something mile long trail. So we'll see. But anyway, let's go for a walk. So the Three Rivers Trail is called the Three Rivers Trail because it crosses three rivers. So the first one is the Boone River, and then the East Fork Des Moines River, and then the West Fork Des Moines River. So I'm only doing a little bit more than half of the trail today, ending in Humboldt, and so I'm not sure if Humboldt is where the East Fork of the Des Moines River is, but I bet. But anyway, I have never walked on a crushed gravel trail before, so this is really going to be interesting. But look at how beautiful this trail is. Look at that. That is gorgeous, and it is a beautiful day, and it's not very windy, or I can't feel it because it's so wooded. But I'm assuming this is the Boone River, and it is, oh my gosh, it's spectacular. And the grass is getting green, even though the trees are still kind of, you know, dormant. How pretty. And then I've only walked just this far. So this is going to be quite an adventure today, so I'm really excited. It took about an hour and a half to get here from my home in Ankeny. It was a really beautiful drive, and a part of the state I have never seen. I've never taken Highway 17. I mean, this far north anyway. And so it was just kind of an adventure already, just getting here today. I don't know if it's capturing all the noise, but there's lots of frogs, lots of birds. It's fun to hear, but my walking on crushed gravel would drown it out, so I don't want to do that. Okay, so before when I was looking on the map, I thought maybe it was an 18.5-mile day, but there is this specific trailhead in Humboldt that was like 4 miles through the city, I think. So I'm going to go 22.5 miles today. That's a lot better than the 33 that I did last Saturday. So anyway, just wanted to clarify that. And this is such a fun path so far. So if you have a mountain bike rather than a road bike, you'd probably like these crushed gravel trails. So anyway, but just note that it is crushed gravel, so a road bike might not be the best option. Lots of farmland, and Iowa has some of the richest soil in the United States, and you can just see how black it is. Yeah, this is farming country up here. I've only walked a couple miles, but at first it was like more gravelly, and then this section right here feels so nice on my feet. It's really crushed gravel, and the ground almost has a buoyancy to it, so it's it feels so nice to walk on this really crushed gravel. Yeah, it's just a beautiful day. Perfect day for a walk. Okay, so I'm coming into Thor, Iowa. It's really little. I've never heard of it. So sometimes I've heard of towns because you'll read them on the ticker, like during a snow day when they're canceling schools. So like I've heard of Eagle Grove, I've heard of Humboldt, which is the county seat of Humboldt County. So this whole walk, I think, is in Humboldt County. But there's their grain elevator. The water tower is there, but you can't quite tell. It's a really little interesting looking water tower. And so then, I don't know, that just belongs to the property, or it could have been a little depot, I don't know. But it's usually like a brick structure. But here's Thor, look how cute. Oh my gosh, I love it. Cute. I love old brick buildings that are remnants of a town that once was. So anyway, this is Thor. See, it says it right there on that little shelter. And here's the city park. I've never seen one of these on a walk before. Kind of scared me at first until I realized it wasn't real. I am a little bit afraid of dogs, but I have never run across a loose dog on any of these trails, so hopefully it remains that way. But this is just a really flat area. It's 12 miles from Thor to Humboldt, so kind of a lonely trail, and it's real flat, but it's very peaceful, a beautiful day, and I love this crushed gravel. It's very soft to walk on. So that's a mile marker 11. which is kind of interesting because I've only seen 2 mile markers. There was an 8-mile marker and 11, and that's it. So, and I think they're accurate. So it just begs the question, why those miles instead of, 1 through 7 or 9 or 10. But anyway, so there aren't mile markers usually on this trail, but 8 and 11 are pretty accurate. So I'm on mile 11 and I'm going to 22.5. So I'm about halfway done. And I think it was around 11:30, so it's been close to 3 hours so far, which is a little bit slower than normal on this crushed gravel, but also I just can't walk as fast as I used to. I just feel like I'm full of inflammation all the time, and I blame it on my age. Okay, I take that back. It's 15 more minutes until I'm at mile 12, and so that would be 4 miles an hour. So I guess I'm not going that much slower than normal. So that's good. I see a water tower way up there. Let's see, it's blue. There it is. And I'm wondering if that's Humboldt. So we'll see. But it's always fun if you can see the destination before you get there. Okay. I'm on mile 14 of 22 and a half. And it looks like now the trail is going to veer north because I've been going west this whole way. And I've been listening to this book on on Audible. I'm so old. And so I'm just going to philosophize for just a couple minutes. But because this is a long trail and there's just not a lot to see. But I love it, so I highly recommend it. But anyway, I'm listening to this book about this woman who's basically an alcoholic, but they never talk about that. But she drinks all the time. She's a, unhappy middle-aged housewife and is just making a bigger mess of her life. And so it's one of those, flawed characters that are apparently relatable to everybody. And that would be so it's not my cup of tea, but when I start something, I have to finish it. So that's what I'm doing. But it reminds me, I just read a book by Ayn Rand, who is my absolute hero. I love Ayn Rand. So if you want to know anything about me, that is extremely important. And her book was called The Romantic Manifesto. And it's about how during the Romantic era of literature, and she cites Victor Hugo as being the quintessential author of the Romantic period in literature. And so he wrote Les Miserables. And that's when we wrote about heroes and the best of men. And if you know Ayn Rand, John Galt is the hero in Atlas Shrugged, and Howard Rourke is the hero in The Fountainhead. And she just kind of laments the lost era of heroes, of writing the best of men or women. And so then I'm listening to this book about this extremely flawed woman. And what we do now in our culture is we worship these people who are disasters because it makes us feel better about ourselves, instead of learning and reading more about admirable people and who are heroic. And I think our media does the same thing. We focus so much on flawed people and ignore the heroes of the world, or we make the heroes flawed people. Okay, I had to cross the road there, but here is a little trailhead right here. I just crossed Lone Tree Road, But anyway, okay, so my point is this. I think that we need to pay attention to heroes and ignore people who are less than. We pay way too much attention to negativity, and we make ourselves feel better by comparing ourselves to trash. And I think that's really harsh, but I just feel like that's a huge problem in our culture. Okay, so this is just what's going through my mind as I go on this really long walk. I don't know if you can see, but now it looks a little different. It's like real hilly up here. I'm kind of high and there's a pond down there. So it isn't so flat here. So I'm like on mile 14, I think. And it's a nice change of scenery. Oh, I'm realizing that that wasn't a pond. That is probably the East Fork Des Moines River down there, which I know you can't see it, but hopefully we will cross it. So that's just another of the rivers. So we've crossed the Boone River and now we're following along the East Fork Des Moines River. So that's exciting. So we're not along the river, it's over there amongst those trees. But I just wanted to show that big hill there and how different it looks right now. So really nice. This is a really pretty part of the trail. And I just got past mile 15. Okay, so here is the East Fork Des Moines River. So now we get to go over it. And the woods are beautiful over there. I don't know if you can see. Look how clear they are. Not all full of honeysuckle. So someone's taking care of that woods. That's beautiful. And then here, and you can see the trees are starting to get blossoms and blooms. The leaves are starting to bloom. Is that the correct term? There's a big red building over there. Or yeah, I don't know what that is. So I think I'm probably starting to come into like the outskirts of Humboldt. But this is gorgeous. So if you're going to do one section of this trail, this one's really beautiful. Probably from here into Humboldt. Well, and then where you start to walk along this river. So this is exciting. This is gorgeous. Here's an interesting part. You can walk up. So I think you can park somewhere down there, maybe just at that park, and then walk up the stairs and access the trail. So I don't know what road this is, but it must come through Humboldt. We're in Dakota City, established 1858. So we're not in Humboldt yet, which makes sense because I thought we wouldn't be there till mile 18 and a half through 22 and a half. But I just thought, well, maybe Humboldt is really big. So anyway, that was Dakota City back there. So, and I've also never heard of Dakota City, but it looks like a fairly good sized town. So I'll have to read up on them. Oh, and here's a runner coming. This is the first person I've seen on the trail today. Well, that was so fun. I ran into a man named Dave Orr from Humboldt. He is running and he was wearing a Missoula Marathon t-shirt, and I've run the Missoula Marathon, and you don't normally run into a whole bunch of people that have run the Missoula Marathon in Iowa. So I talked to him for a little bit, but good for him. He's still running marathons, and that's awesome. I told him I just can't do it anymore. But anyway, that's Dave Orr. and it was great to run into him. Kind of a major highway, looks like. So, how cool. And here's a better view of that racetrack. I guess that tree is a little bit in the way. So that's interesting. I didn't know that was there. I don't know if that's still Dakota City. I suppose so. And then now I can't see it, but there's the water tower peaking. And so yeah, Dakota City's not super small. And I think I'm about 17 on getting up to mile 17. Oh yeah, there it is. So there's the 17 mile marker. Oh no, it's 18. Okay, so I've gone 18 miles, and so 4.5 miles left, so not too bad. Okay, so that water tower says Humboldt on it, so I guess I'm not 100% sure where the trail is within regards to the town of Humboldt. So I would have thought it would span like further west of the direction I'm going, and I suppose it does, but to me it just seems like it's like over there and the trail goes here. So I don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, so that was kind of weird. I went a little bit further, or I haven't gone further. It was only 18.5 miles to Humboldt. I thought when I looked at the map that it was going to be 22.5 miles. So anyway, I'm walking to Rutland, which is 4 more miles, I think. And I've requested a ride from Lyft, but I don't know if they really know exactly where to pick me up or where I can catch that ride. So maybe I'm making a mistake and should have just gotten one in Humboldt. I don't know, but I don't really want to end the day with only completing 18.5 miles, because when I come back and do the Rolfe to Humboldt section, I want to be able to, well, actually I want to go from Rolfe to Rutland, and then I can walk back and I can make that all in one day. So anyway, so I'm just going to see how this goes and try to get my ride. So I'm coming up on mile 21, but this is just a really pretty section. You can see the East Fork Des Moines River again. But I am just a little nervous I'm not going to get a ride. But I mean, I booked it. I just don't know if they're going to come. So, or if they can match me with a driver. I mean, all the way out here, and no offense, but kind of, I feel like I'm really in the middle of nowhere. So, we'll see. Just a really pretty section. The river's over there. But again, the trail is kind of like real high compared to like where the river is down there. And I just passed mile marker 21. So when I got to Rutland, I was really lost and confused because no ride was coming for me. But then I walked over to a bar called Nuts Landing, and the owner, Devin, offered to give me a ride back with his 2 lovely daughters. So I'm so thankful they helped me. Okay, so that was really crazy. There's no Uber or Lyft out in the middle of the country in Iowa. So luckily I found a really nice family that took me back. And so thank you so much, Devin and girls. Frankie was the one of the girls. I can't remember the older girl's name, but they were beautiful girls. And I really appreciate the ride back to the trail. So here I am, and it was a really fun day. I highly recommend this trail, but if you are going to walk, away from it, then you need to make sure that you can get back to your vehicle, because there is no such thing as Uber or Lyft out here. And now, lesson learned, and I got back to my truck safely. So anyway, I'm going to finish this trail again at some point, and anyway, it was quite an adventure. So thanks for walking with me.